Welcome back to the Butterfly Mind, a space where we gently unfold the teachings of Zen one quiet breath at a time. In our previous episode, we set the stage for this five-part series inspired by the wisdom of Shunmyo Masuno's 48 Zen principles. Today, we step into our first reflection, a gentle nudge towards clarity and calm. You ever feel like everyone else is moving faster than you, winning more, smiling bigger? Today's episode isn't about chasing them, it's about finally slowing down to see what's chasing you inside. Welcome back to the podcast, where we step out of the noise and into clarity. Let's start with our Zen truth: do not delude yourself. But before I start with this chapter, let me leave you with a question, or rather a scenario. What if the only thing standing between you and peace was a story you keep telling yourself about others? Is it really them, or is it your own reflection you are fighting with? Zen encourages us not to compare ourselves to others. There is a Zen saying, delude not thyself. Simply put, it means don't fool yourself. While delusion might sound like it refers to imaginary fantasies, in Zen, it's much more profound. A delusion is anything that grips your mind and binds your heart, thoughts and feelings that weigh you down, cravings, attachments we are unwilling to release, jealousy, insecurity. All these are the forms of delusion. Now, let's be real. Eliminating every single delusion is not something we can easily achieve. That's enlightenment, the state the Buddha reached. As human beings, we have to accept that we'll always wrestle with some form of delusion. But what can we do to reduce the grip of these delusions have on us? That's within our reach, right? The first step is to see them clearly for what they are. There is a very popular saying, know your enemy and know yourself, and you need not to fear the result of 100 battles. Meaning, if we don't understand our enemy, we won't know how to face it. So, what is the root of our delusions? It's a mindset that views the world in opposites. We often create polarities: life versus death, success versus failure, beautiful versus ugly, rich versus poor, gain versus loss, love versus hate. When we see life and death as opposites, we cling to life as sacred and treat death as meaningless. You hear people say, that guy is so lucky, nothing ever works out for me, or why does she always win while I keep failing? One incident colors our whole perspective, and slowly envy and self pity seep it until they consume us. This is how we let the world around us define our inner world, and we become prisoners of our own illusions. But here's the question: what do we really gain by comparing ourselves to others? There is another very popular saying: once enlightened, there are no favorites. This, when we applied, when we apply this saying to relationships, this means that we can learn to accept others, regardless of how we feel about them or how they compare to us, and without letting our emotions control us. There was a very famous master of, basically a founder of a Zen school, Dogen Zenji. He once said, the actions of others are not my own. He believed that what others do has nothing to do with our journey. Their success doesn't propel us forward. Our growth comes from our own effort and our own effort alone. Zen teaches that every person and everything is complete in itself. Nothing and no one needs to be measured against another. There's nothing to compare And when we try to compare what cannot be compared, we are actually wasting our energy and invite stress, fear, and even worry. And once you stop comparing, you will notice that the most of your inner turmoil fades away. Your heart feels lighter. Life becomes simpler. So let don't delude yourself. Be a quiet mantra, a reminder that you are already whole, just as you are, and there is no comparison needed. And as this chapter gently comes to a close, let's take a deep breath and reflect. The lesson here isn't about perfection, it's about awareness. The lesson is about choosing to see ourselves without the fog of comparisons and learning to honor our own rhythm. Now, to bring this thought to life, let me take you through a short story, one that echoes the heart of this chapter. There was a young man who had always dreamed of completing a marathon. It wasn't about winning or proving anything to the world, it was a personal milestone. On the race day, he was surrounded by seasoned runners with flashy gears and effortless strides, and suddenly doubt began to cloud his mind. Now, as runners passed him by, they were all chatting and breezing through the miles, and he started feeling smaller with every step. His thoughts whispered, maybe you're not cut out for this. Maybe you don't belong here. But then came a pause, a deep breath, and with it, a quiet shift. He remembered why he started, not to outpace anyone, but to honor a promise to himself. So he focused on his breath, his steps, and his journey. Eventually, the finish line appeared. There was no fanfare, no spotlight, just a quiet, powerful sense of peace. That day, his victory, the greatest victory, wasn't about outrunning others, it was about not giving up on himself. So many a times we are fogged by delusions. The need to win, the immediate need to be seen, to run faster than those around us. Ironically, these very thoughts often slow us down in the longer race of life. When we shed the weight of comparison and expectations, we move lighter and clearer and eventually closer to peace. So, the real victory lies in staying true to your own path, not in outrunning others. That's all for this chapter. I'll see you in the next.